Hollywood and fans from all over are mourning the loss of legendary actor Ray Liotta. Native Newarker died in his sleep in the Dominican Republic, where he was shooting.
For years, audiences knew Ray Liotta as the intense voice and piercing presence behind some of cinema's most unforgettable roles. Then, in 2022, the shocking news of his sudden death sent a wave of grief through Hollywood and beyond. At first, the details were scarce, the questions many. Now, 1 year later, the autopsy report has finally pulled back the curtain. What it reveals is more complex than rumors suggested, raising new questions about the hours of a man whose life and death remain deeply compelling. Ray Liotta's final curtain. The world of Hollywood was stunned when news broke that Ray Liotta had passed away. Now, a few years later, official reports have revealed the cause of the Goodfellas star's untimely death. According to an autopsy, Liotta, who was 67 at the time, died from cardiovascular disease, specifically atherosclerotic disease, a condition where fats, cholesterol, and other substances build up along the walls of the arteries, restricting blood flow and putting immense strain on the heart. Liotta's death occurred quietly while he was asleep, in the middle of filming the movie Dangerous Waters in the Dominican Republic. His passing left colleagues, fans, and friends in shock, as the beloved actor had continued to work vigorously in the film industry right up to the end. Jennifer Allen, Liotta's publicist, confirmed to CBS News that he died peacefully in his sleep, a detail that, while comforting, did little to ease the sorrow surrounding his sudden departure. Dominican officials provided a detailed timeline in their report. They noted that the autopsy was conducted on May 26, 2022, at precisely 3:22 p.m., and forensic analysis suggested that Liotta's death likely occurred roughly 8 to 10 hours prior. Their findings also highlighted additional medical complications that contributed to his passing, including pulmonary edema, a dangerous condition marked by excess fluid in the lungs, and the eventual failure of both his heart and respiratory system. Together, these conditions painted a sobering picture of how the actor's body quietly gave way during the night. For many, Ray Liotta's name will forever be synonymous with the unforgettable role of Henry Hill in Martin Scorsese's 1990 crime classic, Goodfellas. Starring alongside legendary actors Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, Liotta brought a charismatic, edgy energy to the screen that captured audiences worldwide. His portrayal of the ambitious, conflicted mobster remains one of the most iconic performances in modern cinema, cementing his legacy as a versatile and powerful actor. But Liotta's career extended far beyond the mafia world. In the years following Goodfellas, he continued to demonstrate his remarkable range through a series of compelling roles in both film and television. He appeared in critically acclaimed films such as Marriage Story, where he explored complex family dynamics, and Killing Them Softly, a tense crime drama. In The Place Beyond the Pines, Liotta once again showcased his signature intensity, drawing audiences into the morally tangled world of his characters. More recently, he returned to the screen in The Many Saints of Newark, a prequel to the iconic television series The Sopranos, delighting fans who remembered him for his powerful performances in crime dramas of the past. Despite his fame and extensive filmography, Liotta was known for his professionalism and dedication on set. Friends and co-stars frequently described him as a warm, charismatic presence, someone who could light up a room while delivering unforgettable performances. His passing during the filming of Dangerous Waters was a heartbreaking reminder of the fragility of life, even for someone whose work seemed larger than life. Ray Liotta's death marks the end of a remarkable era in Hollywood storytelling, but his work continues to inspire new generations of actors and fans alike. From the gritty streets of New York portrayed in Goodfellas to the intimate dramas of his later career, Liotta's legacy is one of passion, intensity, and enduring talent. A legacy that will be remembered long after the final credits roll. What kind of background did Ray Liotta have? What were his struggles like? Let's delve into the details of the adoption and early life of Ray Liotta. Origins of a star. Wait a minute, a voice cautioned, firm but gentle. Don't repeat what Frankie and Johnny did. Don't let money cloud your judgment. Stay true. Do what's right. Got it? Yeah, I get it, came the soft, hesitant reply. From the very start, Ray Liotta's life seemed caught between extremes. Uncertainty and love, yearning and belonging, absence and presence. Born in New Jersey in 1954, he entered the world without the comfort of a family. For his first 6 months, he was placed in an orphanage, a small, lonely room where he slept among other infants whose cries blended into a constant background hum. Then came Alfred and Mary Liotta, a kind-hearted couple of Italian and Scottish descent who welcomed him into their modest Union home. Their lives were simple but full of warmth. Ray quickly discovered love could be steady and nurturing, yet life's complexity never fully disappeared. Ray knew he was adopted from the beginning. It wasn't a secret to hide. He spoke of it openly, even sharing the story with his classmates during school show and tell. But awareness came with its own weight. Beneath his bright smile and curious questions lay unspoken doubts. Who am I, really? Why was I left behind? What would life have been like with my birth parents? Sometimes anger bubbled up, unbidden, like a shadow he could not shake. Even in moments of joy, the unanswered questions lingered, shaping his perception of the world and of himself. Faith, however, was a quiet companion through it all. The Liottas were Roman Catholic, but their religion was not rigid or demanding. Rituals and prayers were woven into daily life, more as comfort than obligation. Ray often found himself repeating them instinctively, especially in moments of uncertainty, fear, or grief. Even decades later, he admitted that those early prayers, learned as a child, offered him a grounding presence, a reminder that someone was listening. School offered little clarity about his future. Ray graduated from Union High School in 1973 with no plan, no grand ambitions mapped out in advance. Academic achievement never sparked his passion. College seemed optional at best. He even walked out of his SATs convinced he would follow a practical path. Construction, manual labor, something tangible. But a quiet nudge from his father changed everything, encouraging him to attend the University of Miami. Acting, when it arrived, did so almost by accident. Standing in line to register for required math and history courses, Ray noticed a friend signing up for a drama class. On a sudden impulse, he joined her. What began as casual curiosity soon consumed him. Acting demanded presence, honesty, and raw emotion, qualities that no textbook could teach. With each scene, each performance, he discovered a new dimension of himself, a way to channel both his curiosity and the intensity of his inner life. By the time he graduated in 1978 with a Bachelor of Fine Arts, Ray had transformed from a boy unsure of his place into a performer capable of inhabiting lives far beyond his own. He had learned to wield emotion, instinct, and presence with precision. Little did he know that these skills would prepare him for roles that demanded courage, sensitivity, and an extraordinary depth. Roles that would come to define his remarkable legacy. How was life for Ray? Did he find his dreams easy to chase? Let's dive into the details of the soap operas, struggles, and Hollywood dramas. The long climb. After finishing college, Ray set his sights on New York City, a city of endless ambition, neon lights, and relentless energy. Life wasn't easy. By day, he hustled behind crowded bar counters, mixing cocktails and wiping down tables. By night, he chased auditions, walking into casting offices where hope and rejection often arrived hand in hand. Every no felt heavy, yet Ray persisted, driven by the conviction that the right role could change everything. His persistence eventually paid off when he landed his first major television break, Another World. From 1978 to 1981, Ray brought Joey Perini to life. Joey was the kind of character who made hearts flutter, a sweet, loyal, endlessly romantic young man whose life unfolded through melodramatic twists and turns. Despite the soap opera's over-the-top storylines, Ray grounded Joey with a quiet authenticity that made audiences believe in him. Every glance, every hesitant smile carried a depth that went beyond the script. Though far from the darker, dangerous characters Ray would later embody, Joey taught him something essential: how to sustain emotional intensity day after day, how to navigate vulnerability while staying compelling on screen. These lessons, subtle yet profound, laid the foundation for his future artistry. By 1981, Ray felt the itch for something bigger. New York had nurtured him, but Los Angeles, the fabled heart of Hollywood, beckoned with opportunity and risk. Moving west was not a romantic adventure. It was a trial by fire. Hollywood, he quickly realized, played by rules that had little to do with raw talent. Connections mattered more than skill, and Ray had almost none. He survived on small, often forgettable parts: a fleeting role in a short-lived TV adaptation of Casablanca, a single-episode guest spot on Saint Elsewhere. Each gig offered a paycheck, yes, but also a reminder of how vast and impersonal the industry could be. Determined to refine his craft, Ray sought guidance from the esteemed acting coach Harry Mastro. There, he found himself among peers who were destined for stardom: Kevin Costner, Stephen Bauer, and Melanie Griffith. They trained together, dissecting scenes, exploring motives, and pushing the limits of their emotional range. Watching Griffith's career take off with Something Wild in 1986 was both inspiring and daunting. Ray admired her success but initially hesitated to reach out, unsure whether asking for help would seem opportunistic or desperate. Eventually, he took the leap. He auditioned for a film role opposite Jeff Daniels, and the results were electric. In that audition room, Ray let go of restraint, pouring raw, unfiltered emotion into the scene. The performance was so powerful it stopped everyone in their tracks. Casting directors saw not just talent, but fearless honesty. Critics noticed, too. A Golden Globe nomination followed soon after, signaling that Ray was no longer just another hopeful face in Hollywood. He was a rising force. Yet even as doors began to open, the industry's relentless typecasting machine lurked in the shadows. Hollywood, enamored with extremes, began nudging him toward roles steeped in violence, instability, and darkness, the very edges of human experience he would later explore so memorably. What had begun as a story of a lovable soap opera heartthrob was evolving into a journey of intensity and transformation, one that would demand not just talent, but courage, resilience, and an unflinching willingness to step into the shadows and emerge unforgettable. Ray's journey from bustling New York bars to the glittering yet perilous streets of Hollywood was only beginning, and the lessons he learned along the way would shape the actor he was destined to become. When and how did Ray hit his breakthrough? Which movie was it? Let's dig into the details of Goodfellas and the weight of genius. The breakthrough. Ray Liotta's breakthrough in Hollywood wasn't sudden. It was a journey defined by persistence, nuance, and moments of quiet intensity that spoke louder than words. His defining moment, the one that would cement his place in cinematic history, arrived in 1990 with Martin Scorsese's masterpiece, Goodfellas. But landing the role of Henry Hill, a real-life mobster whose story was both alluring and brutal, was far from a simple casting decision. The path began when Scorsese noticed Ray's performance in Something Wild. There was a raw energy in Ray, an intensity that didn't rely on showy gestures but radiated from his presence alone. Scorsese didn't call for a traditional audition. Instead, he invited Ray for a private conversation. Informal on the surface, the meeting was anything but casual. It was an unspoken test of instinct, emotional depth, and the subtle command of a room, qualities essential for someone about to embody a character as complex as Henry Hill. One incident particularly highlighted Ray's quiet resilience. In Venice, the actor found himself blocked by bodyguards during a meeting, a tense standoff that could have rattled anyone. But Ray remained composed, asserting himself not with force, but with an unmistakable calm presence. Scorsese observed this closely and recognized something crucial. Ray had the rare ability to hold attention, to captivate without shouting or demanding. It was exactly what the character of Henry required. Convincing the studio, however, proved to be another formidable obstacle. Warner Brothers executives were hesitant. They initially leaned toward big, bankable names, even considering the likes of Tom Cruise and Madonna. Ray, undeterred, took a bold step. He approached producer Irwin Winkler directly. With no arrogance, only conviction, he articulated his understanding of Henry Hill's essence, the charm, danger, and human vulnerability of a man living on the edge. His insight, his authenticity, and his refusal to oversell himself gradually won them over. Once Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci were attached to the project, momentum shifted, and Goodfellas was no longer just an idea. It became a living, breathing vision. The filming process, however, was shadowed by personal tragedy. Ray's adoptive mother was gravely ill during production. Grief threatened to consume him, a weight that could have derailed even the most seasoned actor. Yet, he made a deliberate choice. He would continue shooting. And something remarkable happened. On that day, the energy on set transformed. Ray's sorrow, coupled with his natural humor and defiant spirit, infused the scenes with an authenticity that no script could dictate. Laughter and heartbreak, menace and magnetism. These emotions merged into performances that would stay etched in the memories of cast and crew alike. Goodfellas ultimately became more than a film. It was a cultural phenomenon. It offered audiences a raw, unflinching look into the chaotic, violent, yet strangely alluring world of real-life mobsters. The storytelling was electric, blending humor and horror, loyalty and betrayal. And at the center of it all was Ray Liotta's Henry Hill, a character who seemed to breathe with life, capturing both the seductive charm and the perilous darkness of his world. His portrayal was magnetic, yet profoundly human. He wasn't just a mobster. He was a man grappling with fear, ambition, and the inevitable consequences of his choices. What made Ray's performance unforgettable wasn't just technical skill. It was the combination of instinct, courage, and emotional honesty. Every glance, every inflection, every subtle gesture carried weight. He conveyed complexity without overstatement, letting the audience feel Henry Hill's thrill, his anxiety, and his undeniable charisma all at once. In a story brimming with violence and betrayal, it was Ray who reminded viewers of the human heart at its core. Looking back, Ray Liotta's journey to Goodfellas reads like a masterclass in preparation, intuition, and personal strength. From being noticed for his understated intensity to winning over skeptical executives to delivering a performance colored by real-life grief and resilience, Ray's path was a testament to his artistry and determination. When audiences watch Goodfellas today, they are witnessing more than a story about the mafia. They are witnessing Ray Liotta's defining moment, a role that immortalized him, revealing a talent that could command attention quietly yet irresistibly, and leaving an indelible mark on cinematic history. Who was Ray beyond the screen? What legacy did he leave for the industry? Let's talk about the life of Ray Liotta beyond the screen. Legacy and loss. Ray Liotta's journey through Hollywood was anything but ordinary. Even as his face became instantly recognizable and his performances etched into film history, his career followed a path far from predictable. He famously turned down blockbuster opportunities, roles that could have guaranteed instant global fame, including a certain dark-caped superhero, choosing instead to chart his own course. He passed on parts in mafia dramas, resisting the temptation to be typecast, and carefully curated the roles he believed would challenge him, excite him, or speak to something deeper within his craft. In an industry that often prizes flash over substance, Ray embraced gravity rather than shying away from it. Audiences may have overlooked the quiet intensity of his performances, the subtle shifts in expression, the weight behind a single line, but those who truly watched could sense the danger, the depth, and the humanity he carried into every frame. By May 2022, Ray's own story reached its final chapter in the most serene yet startling of ways. While on location in the Dominican Republic filming Dangerous Waters, he passed away peacefully in his sleep at the age of 67. The news sent ripples through Hollywood and beyond. Tributes came pouring in from all corners, directors, colleagues, critics, and fans alike. Martin Scorsese, who had witnessed Ray's fearless approach to his craft firsthand, highlighted the courage he brought to every performance. Fellow actors spoke of his generosity, humility, and the rare kind of humanity that made collaboration with him feel like a gift. Fans, too, mourned, not just for the films, but for the presence Ray carried, a presence that had always seemed larger than life, impossible to forget. Nearly a year later, the autopsy confirmed the cause of his sudden passing: pulmonary edema and heart failure, worsened by atherosclerosis. The explanation was clinical and calm, but the shock remained. Hollywood had watched him thrive for decades. Yet, here was a natural, silent ending, catching everyone unaware. Ray's posthumous honors affirmed the magnitude of his impact. A star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame was unveiled in his memory, accepted with pride and tears by his daughter, Carsen Liotta. It was a tangible symbol of a life that had touched so many, a public acknowledgement of a private, intensely lived journey. Yet, Ray's true legacy extends far beyond plaques or awards. It is carried in the moments of brilliance on screen, in the characters who linger long after the credits roll, in performances marked by emotional authenticity and instinctive courage. From his beginnings, adopted as a child, navigating a world that didn't always feel welcoming, to his rise as a celebrated actor, his life was punctuated by setbacks, surprises, and triumphs, each shaping the artist he became. What made Ray Liotta unforgettable was not just his talent, but the way he inhabited life itself. He approached each role, each challenge, with the same passion and fearlessness that defined his off-screen persona. He reminded audiences that a career and a life does not have to follow a straight line to matter. His story is a testament to living fully, embracing risk, and remaining true to one's instincts, even in the face of uncertainty. And in every film he left behind, in every fleeting glance or whispered line, he invites viewers to return again and again, drawn by the energy, the complexity, and the unmistakable humanity he breathed into his work. Ray Liotta may be gone, but his presence endures, an echo of courage, artistry, and the kind of life lived without compromise. So, what do you think about Ray Liotta's death? Do you think it could have been prevented? We'd love to hear your opinions in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe.